I was trying to get the creme pat to thicken. It starts to scramble, turns into egg, basically. I start again. So I knew that I was already on the left foot.
1 hour is gone, and you have 1 hour remaining in which you have to recreate Chef Richard Carton's masterpiece. Who wants to be boosted into that final?
I think I need to pick up my pace a bit. I'm lacking behind.
Okay, boil, please.
1 hour and I'm just finishing off the chiboust. I know that I'm behind because I had to remake my creme pâtissier.
It feels as though there's a million things to do, and I'm trying to do all of them at the same time instead of be sequential about it. I recognized that stress and that scramble from the gâteau, and I tried to calm myself down, but there's no time to breathe, I guess.
Instead of reading the recipe, I just read the ingredients and threw all of the orange juice in the pan with the sugar syrup. I realized that that was the wrong thing to do, so I quickly scrapped that and started again. Freaking out a little because this is the most mammoth task ever.
Combine the syrup and the orange juice and the agar.
Next, I start with tempering chocolate, which is scary. It's difficult to tell what the temperature is because there are unmelted chips and there's already melted chocolate.
I felt that this was a very tricky challenge for me, the actual chocolate handkerchief to temper it. It was something that required a lot of attention.
You want to spread it out, get enough coolness in there, and then bring it back in. So you work outside in the whole time when you're tempering chocolate. And you're pretty much arranging the crystal structures in such a way so that when you eventually put it back on the heat, bring it back up, and then set it, that it stays in that format.
Now this is the really important part because the chocolate's not meant to go above 34 degrees. You've got to get it to 34 and stop. It's at around 34 degrees, so I just decided, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Only 30 minutes remain. Remember what's at stake here, guys. One of you will be going home today, and one of you will shoot up straight into the final.
Everyone knows tempering chocolate is supposed to be difficult, but oddly enough, it goes quite smoothly.
I still have about 4 or 5 elements to complete, which was my chocolate aero, and I poured it into my siphoning can. It just shot all over the place. There was fine aerated bubbles throughout it, but it wasn't that nice aeration that I would have liked.
Charge 4 times, form into a tray. It's too runny.
Clearly, that's not how it works. I don't think that my chances are very good today.
Contestants, there are only 20 minutes left. You really do need to think about finishing the dish off.
I pull the cling film off my handkerchief. A little bit breaks off. I'm happy with it. I tempered chocolate for the first time, so I'm actually really pleased with myself.
I'd wrapped the cling film underneath it. The chocolate handkerchief fell apart. It was a damn mess.
My chocolate handkerchief, it looked more like a flying carpet instead of a chocolate handkerchief.
The next thing I do is to plate my dish. Cut up the jellies, demold all the chocolate spheres, and it's not set, but in the form that it is, it's going to be on my plate.
15 minutes remain. Make sure you put everything on that plate. Make sure all your elements are done. 15 minutes is not a lot of time, so you guys need to hurry up. Come on now.
Now I just have to finish off the foam and the liquid nitrogen rocks. That is a lot of chocolate. And give it a shake. I've worked with liquid nitrogen before in chemistry during our practicals. This is completely different context for me, completely different. It's a bit of a scary experience. So I get my bowl and I fill it with liquid nitrogen. Of course, banging the board is gonna wobble the bowl and everyone gasps.
She's about to start putting her mousse into the spoon to drop it into the liquid nitrogen.
That's better. I froze my foam and they look really funky. I don't know how Chef Richard came up with this. It just blows my mind. But it's actually really cool. Really, really cool.
My study leader will be so pleased.
Celine is starting with her nitrogen. Leandri has already completed that step and is finishing up her plating.
Putting on the gloves and the goggles, I feel like I'm back in high school doing science experiments.
Basically, once I got to my liquid nitrogen phase, everything was plated up. This is a part that's really, really stressing me. It almost looked like as if though it was evaporating. When I tried taking out my foam from the canister, I had a very thin liquid consistency.
Right, and Ozzy seems to be struggling with his gun.
I wasn't too happy with the first one. And then I left it for a little bit longer and turned it around and stuff. And it seemed to come out better. It had more of the shape and the texture, so hopefully it will work on the plate and it'll look good.
Right, 3 minutes left. Carmony is preparing her nitrogen station.
Working with nitrogen makes me feel like creepy.
And here we go. Carmony's is also a little on the liquid side.
The mousse that is coming out of that siphon is too runny. So I keep shaking it around, hoping it would get thicker. And then the second time, it's still too runny, so I keep shaking it around. And then the third one is still not perfect, but I mean, there's 2 minutes left to go.
Carmony's mousse is going into the liquid nitrogen.
I mean, it's the last minute almost, and I just pipe it into the teaspoon and drop it into the liquid nitrogen. I'd rather have the element on the plate than not.
Be careful with that liquid nitrogen. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop cooking. That's it. Well done.
At that stage, I realized that my streusel is still in the oven and that my white chocolate branches are still lying next to my plate.
This was a really, really tough challenge. The type of finesse work that it took to complete this dish was just out of this world.